Hi, Bonnie McDonald Dixon here, and our beautiful Ann Crawford, who let her curls shine today. I just love it. And we love sharing and talking with you. And today is we're at the last of the year, Plan B for 2023. And this is an important one. It's called Recognizing Trauma. And Ann is really good at recognizing trauma with her clients because often they've been through quite a bit. And my background is in the natural products industry, and I love helping people use the no pill approach to healing. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I'm share the company LifeWave and really love helping people. And Anne, you are amazing. I met you more than a year ago, and we have been doing these What is your plan B for 2023? Your background is amazing, counseling people and working with them, especially out of the military when they're transitioning, or other people who maybe have a career and they're not quite happy, they're transitioning. And I'd love for you to just say a bit about, I'll go through ours here, 17 years.
Yeah, that's me.
And I currently helping people live long and live well. And but we got to talking about trauma and how it affects your
hmm
job and career. And because you've had a lot of experience, could you talk a little bit about it when you're working with people and what that looks like?
Yeah. Trauma is it's like a warm blanket that you feel comforted over. And I know that sounds very strange, but it lies deep within you. Anything that you go through lies right in you, but it's almost subconscious and you don't realize you have been traumatized unless it's been a catastrophic trauma, which is like a bad accident, being in the war, uh, child trauma from abuse, neglect, sexual traumas, things like that. But then what do you do with that? It just subconsciously goes inside of you. So when I work with my clients, and I never ask them about trauma, to be honest with you, that's not in my realm. But when I see a behavior pattern as to, like, let's take the first one, indecision. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. What will they think of me there? Those are fear-based behaviors also, but it also, all these things interact with each other to make a smorgasbord of not moving forward in your career. So I ask them, what is it that you are afraid of to make this decision? Is it based on a move? Is it based on disappointment of your family? Where is it coming from? And I'm not kidding you, 9 times out of 10, when we really start getting into it, it's what was said to them when they were little, what wasn't said. There wasn't a support system, or when they spoke up, they got reprimanded, and they're afraid to make any decisions because that might be wrong. And that, my dear friends, is trauma. It's soft trauma, things that we never think about.
Mm-hmm. So true. I mean, we all have been through it one way or another. It could be a sharp word from an auntie,
hmm
or like my father. Um, he was didn't mean, I think, harm, but he
Right.
called me blabbermouth one time, and boy, that really hurt. And you think, oh, I talk too much, and
Mm,
the fear base of feeling like you're not good enough,
right.
that was something I recognized for myself. Uh, and then realizing later that that was just a label I put on myself, perfectly good enough. But um, when you're in this space, in a job, I could see where it would hold you back.
Right.
Because if you're afraid to do something in your job and you're afraid to handle the rejection from it, it could cost your promotion because
Right.
um, sometimes you see things that need to be done. And if you just sit back and don't say something, it could make you later look like, well, they didn't even speak up about it. There's a
Right.
problem here.
You
And then
nailed it.
feeling you're not good enough, maybe you wouldn't even go for a promotion when you're perfectly capable
Capable.
of it, but you
Hmm.
just wouldn't go there because the fear of, oh, someone's going to say something to me.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I
really.
also see it in when you get rejected.
Hmm.
That's where it all comes out too, because that's a trigger of rejection is a trigger. So getting laid off from work triggers a lot of these behavior patterns that you see in our little list today, which
Hmm.
normally wouldn't surface that much. So it's
Hmm. Hmm.
a doozer.
Yeah. Let's see here. So yeah, what we it's kind of not knowing yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
You're maybe stick your hand in the sand because it might be painful or something.
Hmm.
So, was your family a happy family, a stressed out family, an angry family?
Hmm.
Sometimes the addictive family members uh, take up a lot of space and time and energy
Right.
within a family, and that's traumatizing too if you're not getting enough attention. A mix of
Exactly.
all of it, and then sometimes single parenthood, the one parent's trying so hard, to take both roles on.
Right.
And families in past often were closer together, like auntie or grandma was there too to give you more support, and sometimes that's not there for you.
Right. But the big question you have to ask yourself as an adult later on is, like you said, Bonnie, was your father aware? He would never have said that to you if he knew it was going to hurt you for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
I don't believe that was in his heart to
Hmm.
he was just thought he was teasing you, but teasing, that's why, all these people that are going around shooting have had all kinds of stress and angry thoughts during high school from bullying. It all comes out eventually. And it's interesting. Sometimes we don't realize this. Let's take the angry. Let's say you were brought up in a very loud, angry family, and everybody was shouting and screaming and everything. And then you get involved with different friends and stuff, and you go home to their family environments, and everybody's quiet, polite. Sure, I'll do that for you. And you're like, that's the light bulb moment that when you say to yourself, something is catastrophically wrong with the way I was brought up. And then you realize your behavior patterns, and it could melt right into your work as to you're the toxic employee. And you're like, now I know where it comes from. I didn't give that girl a chance, or I didn't honor my workmate by completing a job.
Hmm.
I'm the problem sometimes. And that's knowing yourself very well. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a skill, knowing ourselves. I know that in a couple slides, we're going to talk about some of the solutions that you can use.
Mhm.
And one of them's a favorite of mine yeah, it is. It
It
truly
is,
is.
I know.
Now, decisions you've made, back to not taking risks, not trusting other
Oh,
people.
that's big. That's big.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, hiding from others.
Yeah.
See, oh, not stepping up to challenges. Um, I know that when I finally started stepping up to challenges, interestingly enough, was I my husband left, my first husband,
Hmm.
and I was shocked, of course. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to step up because yes, I was working a job and I loved that job, but it wasn't making much money and there was nowhere to go. I was already at the top of her hierarchy. I was already her
Hmm.
manager. So there was nowhere to go and there was no pay raises or health insurance back in the day and all this. So I thought, So I literally, one of the risks I took, I leapt out of a perfectly good airplane and took a skydive. And that was interesting. It was the most adrenaline I ever had in my life. And I then went and opened a business, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just started doing it. And I opened a natural foods brokerage in Seattle. And someone said to me, "Oh, you're so brave." I said, "Brave? I have no idea what I'm doing." But I started trusting myself
There you go.
that I could figure it out. And so I think that that's when you have one of those aha factors, or something like a loss of a job that pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Right, right.
And you
So
look at yourself and say,
yeah, that's true. So when you decided to step up to your challenge of, really taking control of your life, and you actually flew out of that plane, God bless you. I don't think I have the guts to do it. I don't know. I could scream all the way down. How did you feel after you did that?
I've never had so much adrenaline in my life. In fact, so you have to push yourself out of the plane. They do not push you, they do not touch you. You have to do it on your own. The jump master says jump, and you have to push yourself out of the plane.
Yeah.
And now mine was called a static line. So there was a line to me. And then as soon as it hits a little thing, it lets go. They said I laughed the whole way. And they finally had to say, "Bonnie, please come down now." Because I had a little monitor here. And they said I was laughing and laughing. I was up on a thermal, just going round and round and
Oh,
floating around. And it was an experience I'd never had before. And then
right.
I came down, and just like, and many of you might not know this, there was a show called Laugh In. And this little person would come down and they'd fall over. That's what I did.
Yes.
I landed and I went, boop. And luckily not on a cactus, because it was in the Mojave Desert. But
Yeah.
I had adrenaline rush for 6-8 hours afterwards. I was just like
Good.
vibrating, and I couldn't. It was so amazing. But I will tell you part two. I decided to do a second jump, and it wasn't as fun.
No.
It
Huh.
was. I thought, I could get hurt doing this. No,
Oh, little reality set in.
yeah, but the first one for sure. And
Yeah.
but I think it was part of, and it sounds weird, but not caring what other people think,
Good.
and not worried what was going to happen, because life's going to happen no matter whether you want to or not.
That's true. That is true. I see it like somebody I worked with was applying for jobs, the safe jobs, because they could do almost everything that was required. But the ones that got them excited, there was 2 or 3 tasks that they hadn't done yet or mastered. And I said, let's get the resume going and you're going to apply. Oh, I can't. That's where the not taking risks. I said, you have got nothing to lose. Every time you do this, you gain your strength muscles. Oh, I don't believe that. There's the not trusting part. So I said, name the day and you're going to submit it. They did. They did. And sure enough, they got 2 replies. It's just like you jumping out of the plane. I took the challenge and good things came out of it.
Mhm.
There's no more hiding behind who I am. Good things are possible, but that's where all this little traumas take shape and give you power over not taking risks and not doing those challenges.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if you have an advocate for yourself, or you build yourself up like you did, Bonnie, building your self-esteem and saying, well, that schmuck didn't need me. I don't need him.
Mhm.
I'm going to go do this. No one's stopping me. When you
Mhm.
start getting that powerful self-talk,
Mhm.
your whole life changes. Your whole
Mhm.
life changes.
Mhm.
And all it took for this client was to get replies going, we would love to talk to you about getting an interview going. That changed
Mhm.
their whole demeanor, that gave them the confidence they needed. I don't know if they got the job. I don't remember if they got the job. This is a long time ago, but I do know it changed their attitude completely.
Mhm.
You have to identify what's not working in your life and why you're holding yourself back. This
So
was just a
that
key
brings the
one.
attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
It's sometimes Oprah is a good example.
Hmm.
She had great trauma when she was younger. she was raped by a relative.
Yeah.
Now, she
Yeah.
could have sat in that the rest of her life.
Yeah.
But instead, she not only went on to become, of course, Oprah,
Yeah.
but she shared her experience so
Yeah.
others knew and understood what childhood trauma is. She did
Right.
not let it hold her back. And,
Right.
you know, with much of what's going on in the world today, with people being traumatized daily with war, with violence,
Right.
it's going to happen. And even though we think it's the worst time in the whole history of mankind, no, it actually was quite violent all along.
Right.
And statistically, actually, it's not as dangerous, but because we hear it 24/7, we think there's danger all the time.
Right.
And so it's the childhood trauma has happened, yes, and even adult trauma has happened, but we can move on and we can heal. And so we've talked about quite a few of these things now,
Hmm.
how we handle it, how you ask if you're good enough, indecision. Do you understand the decisions you've made, taking risks,
Right.
hiding, not stepping up to challenges, not trusting yourself, not trusting other people? And 46% have experienced it. 3 to 15% of girls, for sure, and 1 to 6% of boys. But here's the thing that Anne and I
Yeah.
love talking about. We love solutions.
Hmm.
And I say without using pills or drugs, because they can often uh, still mask or become dependent on it.
Right.
Um, my number one favorite thing is there's a book called The Artist's Way by Julia
Yeah.
Cameron. She talks
It's
about journaling.
awesome.
And within that journaling about gratitude. And the other one I love is having healthy friendships, and again, recognizing what is a healthy friendship.
Yeah.
And then of course counseling, and that's where you, particularly you, and come in, because when you're wanting to better yourself, wanting more for yourself, you may need a coach. Now, we know every sports team has a coach.
Right.
We know every kid usually goes to school. In a sense, a teacher is a coach. And why would we not think that getting a job, we can use job coaching? And because you can see a bigger picture than the person you're working with can sometimes, just
Right.
like that example you gave. But all of these things can be very, very helpful as a solution if you find yourself getting stuck, you know.
I,
And
I,
can you share a little bit about this for yourself, some of the solutions?
well, I will tell you one thing, and Bonnie and I both agree. This whole word gratitude changed my life profoundly. It was a book on Cheryl Richardson that she talks about gratitude, and I'm in the midst of helping a client who's not grasping the idea of gratitude, because when you're in a low place, you tend to focus on the low place. What's not happening? Why isn't I'm, getting a job, this and that. And so I really am a true believer, and I think Bonnie is too, about the gratitude journals. Now, people go, oh, I don't want to write things down. What if somebody sees what I've written? They're not going to like it. So don't write it then. Think it in your mind. And I do all my gratitude thinking in my mind. I don't have to have it down, although once in a while I get inspired to. But here's the deal: start your day with gratitude. I woke up. I have a shower that I can wash in every day.
Mm, mhm,
I have a bed to sleep in. There was times where I slept in my car. So having a bed to sleep in is awesome to me. I have food. I have friendships. I know spectacular people just like Bonnie who encourage me to continue to believe in myself. It's so powerful. It really is like a an action movie where the bad guys are fighting, but the power hero is the gratitude man or woman. Boom, boom. Boy, they lose their power over you. And that's what gratitude does. It really de-stressed me. It helped me cope with difficult times where I was like, I'm going through this right now, but I am so lucky to be alive, or I am so lucky I have children, or I'm so lucky that I got to see the sunset tonight. Because I know some people struggling with vision problems. They will never see a sunset again. So it's these small things that you start out with, and it incorporates in your mind to a point where it becomes natural. So every time I get a stressful situation, I turn the switch for just a little while and go, and stop. This is not the end of the earth. You are so lucky that you have communications, lucky you have a cell phone, lucky you live in a safe area. It's those kind of things I want everyone to think about. And the counseling, we can't do life alone. We need strong friendships. Pick your healthy friendships, like we wrote down, people that lift you up, don't judge who you are, and say, I'll listen to you. But the counseling is true. I mean, Bonnie works with wellness products. You can't get any better than that. All natural things that really want to improve your health. Yes, I do coaching. I want to improve my clients' outlook on life and their careers. I've been to therapists. If you get in with the right therapist, they're phenomenal. You can't, I've had many soldiers, when they come back from the wars, they cannot digest what they have seen and experienced. No human being can. They need great therapists, psychiatrists to help them become the best person that they can be back in civilian life. So don't think you're going this alone. Anything that you challenge in life is really going to, if you practice these 4 things, you should be able to find relief and solutions for sure. I'm not saying, and I don't think Bonnie is too, that pills and drugs, there's certain circumstances that they're necessary. They can actually help you stay above water while you're going through the therapist counseling and things like that. But let's think of what we can do for ourselves first before going that route, is my vision. How about
You're
you,
absolutely
Bonnie?
right.
Can you think
I'm
of
not against
a
Western
situation?
medicine myself. I think it can be very helpful. Back to what can we do on our own
Yeah.
to bring it down a notch and maybe not need it, but if we do, we do. Um, Back to a drug thing, it's a side story, but my mother-in-law, who passed away 2 years ago now, she lived through COVID, but she passed away from old age at 98. She told me the world changed when antibiotics came in the 40s. The
Mm,
world changed. She said, before then, people could die from a toothache. And so, we that back to your gratitude. I
mhm.
am grateful that they are there because many people died of something very simple often.
Right.
I had eye surgery at the beginning of the year, and it actually didn't go well, but it's healed, and now I have glasses. I wake up every day now, go, thank you for my glasses, because back to not being able to see. I remember this whole year I was like trying to strain to see everything, and it made me so grateful that I'm in a place where I can afford glasses and they're affordable.
Mhm.
And whereas people of the yesteryear, what did they do? They couldn't see. I
Right.
can't even imagine. But we we do have in our work lives choices, even if we've been through trauma, and then we have solutions that are available to us. Here's some more that I think really help. And this whole year, again, when you hang out with health-minded people, it's really fun, to create a health plan for yourself, a
Mhm.
customized one. And I love to help people do that because I'm a real health advocate.
Right.
Exercise. I've been doing something called kinesiology classes for 50s plus women. And it's kind of like yoga and kind of like Tai Chi and kind of like regular exercise, but it's using every muscle in your body. And some days I go, ooh, that was hard. But she usually
Oh,
starts
where
this,
did that muscle come from?
I know, what's happening? And then the Mondays are the hardest. Wednesdays we're just kind of intermediate. We use these dowels today, and then Fridays will be more like a relaxing yoga or something. But I found myself feeling stronger, and when you feel stronger, you feel like doing more.
Mm-hmm.
And so the exercise can be in the form of walking. I love my walking poles.
Right.
Exercise will actually help you with your job,
Oh,
and
big time.
it can be de-stressing to walk. That's how my husband does it. That's how he de-stresses, even midday. For
Yeah.
my sister, 20 minutes a day, 10 on her morning break and 10 in her afternoon, lost 15 pounds. And it
Wow.
de-stressed her from her job. She'd go out and walk and then come back. And then eating, we often say, oh, well, I don't want to go on a diet. You don't have to. You just
No,
be
no.
observant of what we're
Right.
eating. Instead of a vending machine goodie, you might plan ahead and take an apple with some peanut butter,
Right.
or a nourishing snack, because
Mm-hmm.
think of it, if we had a nice fancy dog or horse for a horse show, we'd want the best for them. We should want that for
Right.
ourselves.
I know, isn't that something? We'll buy all these treats and gourmet things for dogs and stuff and pets, but we're sitting there, eating trash all the time. So funny. It's true.
And it's not that I don't. Uh-oh, I've got to plug my computer in.
Oh,
Oh
she's
my goodness.
fading. She's gonna fade.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, I always giggle about that one with the dogs and the horses, how fancy foods we feed them, you know.
Well,
And then
just think about that. The horses, okay, they have special oats and a special feed and everything else. They have a really nice barn. They get groomed every day. They get exercised every
I
day.
know.
What are we doing wrong here? I said, maybe we should go back as horses or something.
Yeah. But walking is free. And people say, oh,
Right.
I can't pay for an exercise class. You don't have to.
Yeah, right,
You can
right,
go
right.
on YouTube and there is every kind of free thing you'd ever want to watch.
Oh,
There's a couple physios, Brad and somebody. They're so funny. There's so many, and you can
yeah.
look up the type of exercise you want to do. You could the age group that you're in, and you
Mm-hmm.
can all just do it at home, or you can
Right,
join a friend for walking. I know a group of gals that after our exercise class, they go for a walk on top of it. But
right.
so we can again create a solution, because believe me, the exercise and eating could make you feel well, or
Mm-hmm.
vitality, to where you want to go and do a better job at the job you're at,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe say, wow, I'm feeling so good, I'm ready for the next challenge of another job. So those
Exactly.
are key. And I've been back to health coaching. you know there's a lot of health coaches out there, and choose one that's for you. I offer solutions myself. I love being a health advocate,
Mm-hmm.
and pointing people in the direction that they might be looking for. So it's a lot of fun
Right.
that way. But I would just say that the solution for a better job is all of these things,
Yeah.
and for trauma. It's funny how you just, the longer you do it, you go, I'm feeling really good. We want that vitality for you.
Right, right, right.
So today we talked about a lot of things, and
Yeah,
some of it might be painful to think about.
right. But you
And
got to start somewhere. You
so
have
any
to start somewhere.
start
Yep.
somewhere, yeah. And if it's a job, you're saying, oh, I don't like my job, that's starting somewhere.
That's right.
And again, back to the journaling of, what do you want? What do you want? What
Right,
do you want? To keep digging.
right.
What would you, if you could have anything, what do you want? And sometimes we as women particularly don't allow ourselves to even ask the question.
And I know I hear this all the time. Well, I can't afford it. Well, then I was like, let's think of some clever ways in which you can afford it. Like
Mm,
you talked, Bonnie, about, health and everything. Well, maybe we're going to limit Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, not get rid of it, but instead of
mm,
4 days a week, maybe do it once or twice. It's those things. And a great resource for me is I have families that all chip in and pay for coaching for a person that is struggling, that they've seen struggle. And it's been wonderful because these people would never go because I heard I can't afford it. Well, I understand that they're out of work. But now, instead of Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, the family all chips in $20 each or 40 or something, and they get 2 or 3 coaching sessions for the person. Things can be done if you really want to change, if you identify some of the things we talked about today, especially the trauma. Just have a little sit down with yourself and go, is that really holding me back? I don't want any, and I don't think Bonnie and I want you to sit there and get re-traumatized and think about all the horrible things that happened to you. We don't want that to happen, but we want you to really become aware of how the events in your life have changed you not to take the healthy risks that are the most important to you. I hope everyone learned that after
mhm.
this self-assessment.
Exactly. So we would love to invite you or someone that's ready for their best. Like 2024 was just around the corner.
I know.
That's for sure. And we thank you for listening in. Again, this might not be for you, but it might be for a nephew or a niece or
Mhm.
a sister or a friend that's struggling and can't figure out what's going on for them or doesn't want to actually enlighten themselves in a sense. I like that word. And you're
Yeah.
invited to a discovery call. You can find either of us on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And we still have a few weeks, 5, 6 weeks of 2023. And we will be coming on one more time before the end of the year. And I looked at all that we talked about this year. We can do a recap of that and
Yeah, that's
then
good.
give you a hints of what's going to happen for 2024 because we love sharing what we know to help others get what they'd like, which is their best life in 2024 and beyond. Because once you shift into what you love, the world is a different place.
Oh, you got that right. You nailed it, Bonnie. There's nothing else left to say. She's so correct. Really, you're awesome.
Well, as always, I adore your Anne and love
You
partnering
too.
with her on sharing with what we know. And Anne, any last thoughts here? Any quotes that you love?
I wrote down one that I'm gonna post on Facebook that I thought of today, and this is where gratitude comes in because I get inspired by something and it just clicks. So this is what I wrote. Just remember that difficult curveball might just be the secret to winning the game of your life. So our challenges do not define us, they make us more powerful. Keep that in mind.
That is absolutely beautiful. If
Thanks.
anyone isn't linked to Anne on LinkedIn, please do, or Facebook. She writes the most beautiful words of wisdom. She's an amazing writer and she shares on there several times a week as well. So thank you so much for coming today. And we look forward to seeing you probably in about 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah, I think that might
after
be good.
Thanksgiving, but before Christmas. We'll pop in and love to talk with you then. Take
Take
care.
care,
Have a great
everybody. Take
day.
care.